Hello everyone, welcome to this intention setting webinar. My name is Penni Harris and this is Grobbler, and we're here today to show you how to set intentions and how to create aromatic anchors. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me. I'm very passionate about natural health and wellness and about bringing the body back into balance and returning the body into a state of love. I think my greatest asset is that I have been somebody that has a living example of how to come back from having a really life challenges. Let's say I've overcome a few life challenges in my time, and to do that I've used quite a few variety of tools, and one of the most effective I've used has been intention setting, and that had led me to manifesting this amazing man here into my life. I'll let Blake introduce himself.
I'm Blake, originally from South Africa, so please, if you struggle with my accent, bear with me. Yeah, I'm a firm believer that what we put out into the universe is heard and listened to, and if we're thinking about what we want and what we really truly want, we put it out to the universe, it really does come back and manifest itself, good and bad. We'll try and focus on all the good things tonight. But yeah.
Great, thanks, Blake. So before we get started on how to set intentions, one thing that I really want to talk about is what I believe is the key to intention setting, and that is your mindset. It's really important that you believe with your head and your heart that whatever it is that you dream of is possible. And it's the marrying of the thought with the feeling that really brings this to the forefront. There's a couple of people that I have followed along my journey. One of them is Joe Dispenza, and he's got this quote that I just want to read to you. It is, "Thoughts are the language of the brain and feelings are the language of the body." So just sit with that for a moment and let that sink in. So your thoughts are the language of the brain, feelings are the language of the body. Joe Dispenza is pretty amazing. He's got some great work out there in the forefront of science and how what you think, how what you feel, and all of that has come together. I know intention setting has been sort of seen as a bit voodoo and a little bit too spiritual and wishy-washy for some people. So here's someone that's really good to look at if you want to get into the science behind it. And it's really exciting times coming up ahead as far as science and intention setting goes, and how your thoughts can create your reality. And another person that I have followed pretty closely as well in my journey has been Bob Proctor, and he also talks quite a bit about your mindset and how we have this amazing brain, and it has that ability to actually create a mental picture of what you want your life to be. And all we have to do is first create that picture, and then we can allow our lives to create that picture for us. So how did I get into intention setting? It's not something that that comes naturally to me. I have to be honest with that. It's something that I've had to practice over probably only over the last couple of years has it been something that I've been doing regularly. But when I found myself at a time in my life where I had pretty much, well, I thought I'd ruined everything basically, and I had to come back to myself and rise up and take ownership for where I was in my life and what was going on, and how I was contributing to what it was I was getting out of my life. So one thing that I started to do was I started to follow very closely the cycles of the moon, and I got into returning to nature and intention setting with the moon. So the moon's a pretty powerful tool that you can use, and it's the new moon is the time where you would set those intentions. and then every month there's another cycle. So what I really loved about that process is every single month you could set an intention, use the powerful energy of the moon and the natural cycle, and allow that to come into fruition, and then you could start again every single month. So you could reflect upon where you were at and, you know, create your intentions in a monthly cycle. So that's something that I was doing every single month. And things were starting to happen to me, things were sort of coming into place, and it was a practice that I was practicing quite regularly. And along with that practice became a bit of a ritual for me to do some colouring in on the new moon. Oh, and I'll just mention, it's really easy to find out when the new moon is. You can get moon calendar. Thomas Zimmerman does a great moon painting calendar. You can also follow some astrologers. Yasmin Boland is a really great astrologer that's regularly posting up about the moon. She's got a website called moonology.com, and also the Moon Woman on Facebook posts regularly about the moon and astrology and how you can align your life with the natural rhythms there. So part of my ritual for a little while was to every month on the new moon, I would set aside some time, do a little bit of colouring, and go within and think about what it is I wanted to create in my life. And not so long ago, just over a year ago actually, I decided that the time had come and I was ready to find love, and I was ready to bring a man into my world. And I must admit, it's not something that that came easy for me. I've probably been what you would call unlucky in love most of my life. But I was reading a wonderful book about called Attracting Genuine Love. This is it here, written by Kathleen and Gay Hendricks. And so I was going through some steps in this book and, you know, preparing myself to be ready for love. And this particular new moon, it was it. I was ready, and I actually wrote down all of the things that I wanted to find in a partner. And I so recall being in that mind space of finally being ready. And I believed that I was worthy as well. I think that was something that the book really helped me with, coming into a space of being worthy and actually believing that this was a possibility for me. And I think that was probably key as well, believing that it was possible. Before then, I know plenty of relationships that I probably didn't even give half a chance because I didn't think I was actually going to be happy with that person. So, so yeah, I actually filled out a full list, and I wrote it down, and I felt it, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is it, I'm ready. And yeah, I sent that off into the universe. And yeah, not long after that, very, very quickly actually, Blake came into my life. So yeah, it was yeah, quite powerful, to know that I could do that, and quite powerful to know that you know, it's just a matter of actually being really clear with what you want, writing it out or speaking it aloud, and then feeling that feeling. Really, yeah, really brought it home for me. So you've got some manifestation stories as well, don't you, Blake?
I think around the same kind of time when Penny was doing these manifestations, obviously to bring my fine self into her life, I was at a really low point in my life, and I got to a point where I needed some drastic change. Otherwise, things weren't going to go particularly well for me. And I got to a point where I said I needed three things. I needed at least two specific things. I needed someone who could lead me into a better way of living, a better way of seeing myself, eating better, eating healthily, and I needed to find myself a better work-life balance. I spent many years working extremely hard for a lot of other people and never really thinking about working, not particularly for myself, but having enough time for myself as well as work. trying to get that balance correct. So I was at a very, very vulnerable stage, but I was at a stage where I could really believe that I needed something to change. My experiences with manifesting your own life, or the good things that come into your life, or intention settings, as Penny's been referring to, goes back probably about 10 years. I was first introduced to it when I was still living in England. I responded pretty well to it, and things happened pretty quickly for me then. But as the years went on, you kind of drift in and out of it as you get complacent with things to do. So I was thinking back, like I used to do this all the time, and I needed to make things happen. So I started, for about a week, I really started focusing on myself. And then actually for myself, it all started with the self-acceptance process, accepting that myself, where I was at the time, I was at close to rock bottom. I was very vulnerable, and I needed a change, and I had to believe that I needed that change. So spiritually and emotionally, I was absolutely ready, and I think that's a very important thing for people to be. You need to be ready to accept these good things come into your life. So I said the same thing. I need to find myself a good woman who's going to look after me, and hopefully I can look after her. And I needed to find myself a work-life balance, and just so happened to manifest both of those. I've got myself a great woman next to me, and I've got an amazing job that gives me the space and the time to be with my family and to pursue a career. And as we'll move along to talk about other things which run alongside with those manifesting. It's not just putting it out to the universe and wanting it, but I responded very well to aromatic anchors as well as auditory anchors as well. So we're going to move on and chat a little bit about that.
Yeah,
so we're
I think we are. Just quickly before that, I do want to talk about this being a practice. So I mentioned that it doesn't come naturally to me. I was never somebody that was raised with the belief that the whole world, was my oyster, and I could achieve anything and I could do anything. It just wasn't it wasn't a part of my life. It wasn't a part of my mindset. And it wasn't that I was raised not to. It just, I wasn't aware that, it was a possibility. And so for me, that I do need to practice. I do need to practice it. I do fall out of practice with it as well. Yeah, and one thing I know about, when I met Blake, we, on our first meeting, I actually pulled out an essential oil from my purse, and he smelt it, and he
never smelled essential oil before.
And he was instantly transported, and the reaction, I've never seen a reaction like that before, ever. And especially from a man, he just instantly gave me a date and a time and a place, like 20 years ago, more.
Yeah, I was 6.
Yeah, and it was so powerful, and it really was so shocking to me that somebody could actually go travel to the far past like that in an instant, and then come back to the room. And yeah, so Blake is somebody who has a real great affinity with essential oils and with their power. And for me, I'm definitely more someone that I've got to practice on a daily basis. What we call aromatic anchoring. And I'll just let Blake move on to that because he's really good at it.
how the aromatic anchoring works, and I mean, it's the same old story. Like when if you're walking through a garden and you get a smell, and it transports you back to that time and place, or you hear a song and it takes you back to when you were younger or whatever. Those are the anchors that are set deep within your long-term memory. The aromas have a particularly good ability of reminding you of time or places or feelings. When about 7 or 8 years ago, I did probably 10 years ago, I did an anchoring meditation session. I was in Spain at the time, and it's weird because if I think about it, I can still take myself back to that place. But I also did it with meditation techniques and pressure points. So it doesn't have to be only aromatic anchors, which we'll basically focus on tonight. Maybe we'll do another webinar on auditory and pressure point anchoring. But one of the ones that I used most recently was when we were in Brisbane for the doTERRA convention. It was a super high energy, charged, really emotional time for everyone who was there, because the convention is just a really, really special place surrounded with like-minded people. And we were introduced to this little oil called Hope, which I used as an anchor at that time, along with a song, just because I linked the auditory along with the aromatic anchors. And when I smell this little oil now, I can physically transport myself back to that emotion. It's a happy emotion, but it's also charged with serious emotions. And I think the fact that the aromas are linked to the olfactory bulb in your brain that allow you to take on these past memories or things that are coming in the future. In terms of using them for intention testing and manifestations, it's really, really good. And I use this one's really, really special to me. Hope's got a little corner in my life, and I use it a lot. I go through a hell of a lot of it.
What oils are in Hope?
I don't know. You have to tell me. You're the special list on it all. I just know that it smells damn good.
There's some Lang Lang in there, and there's Vanilla Absolute and Bergamot. That's what it is. And frankincense. Yeah,
it's a really, really good one, and I use it most days. It's really good, and as I said, takes me to that happy place, that time about 6 or 7 months ago, and it just reminds me of the journey that both Penny and myself are on, coming from the convention, and see how these oils change people's lives.
That's so well said. Yeah. They really do. They've definitely changed my life, and I know they've changed Blake's life as well, and the lives of his children, which is pretty special. So before I lead you into a bit of a ritual in setting intentions, if you do have any essential oils with you, if you want to grab them, I should have said that at the beginning. If you do want to grab your essential oils, find a smell that you'd like to anchor with. I did mention on my Facebook Live a couple of weeks ago to grab Litsia. If you have Litsia, it'd be great if you could grab that one. And I also just want to say, before you think about what it is you want to manifest, it's really important that it's manageable. It's really important that you actually put out to the universe something that you believe you can achieve. So, it could be, I want a new job, but, if you've got no intention of leaving the job that you've got or leaving the pay that you're at right now, there's no point in setting the intention. It is definitely going to have to be something that's manageable for you. If what you want to achieve is really big, break it down into bite-sized chunks and think about how you're going to get there, what steps you're going to take, and I mean, I know that I'm so blessed. I am so blessed to have found Blake, and I'm so blessed to have manifested him into my life. And I have plenty of people that ask me, they hear our story, and, there were a lot of steps that had to come before that moment. There really was. I didn't just go, ooh, I want a man. Here he is. It didn't work like that. There were quite a few things that happened before there. And the other thing I do want to quickly mention as well is the universe is really, really clever at helping us when we are on the wrong path. It sends us clear messages, and we are all extremely intuitive beings if we only allowed ourselves to listen to our heart, and really pick up on those little signs that actually, some people that's like screaming beacon. Some people aren't aren't used to listening to their intuition. Some people overthink it, and this doesn't need to be complicated. It can be a lot of fun, you know. You can just be like really joyous in it, get back into that childlike state, because, you know, when we're children, that's when our intuition is really, really strong. Or if you are someone who's practiced at, you know, tuning into your intuition or naturally intuitive, that's a great thing too. But, you know, in this day and age, there is so many distractions. So yeah, I just want you to have a little think about what it is you're going to manifest tonight. Grab your essential oil. I'm going to be using Litsea, so is Blake.
With hope.
With hope, yeah. So I'm just going to pop a drop into the palm of my hand. And Blake's going to do the same. And if you don't have essential oils, don't worry, I'll send you an email. I'll let you know how you can get hold of some. We definitely do believe that doTERRA is far and beyond, what I'm trying to say, the best. It's a beautiful company to be aligned with. The quality is, yeah, up there. I was lucky enough to listen to one of the founders of doTERRA on Monday night. She came out to Australia and spoke and talked to us about how the company was formed and all about the quality, the testing, their humanitarian projects. Just, yeah, it's pretty amazing. If you ever get a chance to get along to see any of the founding members speak, it is well worth it. So yeah, that was pretty lucky. So let's get back to intention setting. So what you need to do is, you know, just take a really nice deep breath of that essential oil. Be careful if you're using them neat. You don't want to get on your face. And just breathe it in. And spend a few moments with that smell. And a few moments to go quiet in your mind. And let your dreams come up and speak to you. And then after that, what you really want to do to concrete it is to say it out loud or write it down. And that's a really important part as well. You need to put a sound or a physical action next to it. And then you can let that go up into your olfactory system. And then this is something you can do every single day. Every day. And you don't have to wait to the new moon and only manifest one thing a month. Because what happens when you get good at this, and as Blake knows, because it's something that he is actually naturally good at, this is something that he can just sort of do on a dime. You know, just go, oops, put his mind to something, and then that's where we're at. Yeah, it's quite special to be around. So yeah, it's something that you can do every day. Basically, you don't have to wait until a big thing and, you know, think about what it is you're going to manifest all month. And but if there is something big that you do want to work with, I do invite you to work with the new moon, because that really does amplify your manifestation powers.
Can I just jump in and say that these things that you want to manifest, or the things that you need or want, in that you'll find sometimes they come really quickly. Sometimes you think they don't come at all. But if I look back on my life and my journey, most of the things which I've always wanted in my life, which I've unconsciously manifested, I have achieved or I have acquired. So these intention settings and these manifestations might not take 1, 2, 3 days, months. It might take a couple of years. But they will come into your life when they need to. And when they need to, they'll arrive. I run the philosophy that 2 weeks' time, it's all going to be different. So wait a couple of weeks and it'll be different. Might be having a tough time this week, might be having a tough time today. Funny enough, which I had actually been, and just before we started this, I did a bit of meditating, and I said, 2 weeks, it's all going to be fun, which it always is. It always is. So just be aware that don't lose heart or faith that if these things don't your manifestations don't come to fruition in a couple of days or a couple of weeks or even a couple of months. But I can guarantee you that they will, big and small, and you'll find the small things will come into your life because you thought you needed them, and they'll go out of your life as quick as they can, because they're all these little lessons and these little links on this journey that we're on, which bring people together and which create this life that we say we create the life that you want. What is the life that we want? Well, it's all about the journey.
Yeah, and it's constantly changing.
Constantly changing.
Constantly evolving. And yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the last step of setting your intentions. You have to let it go. You know, you bring it up, you say it, you speak it, you feel it, and then you let it go and let the universe take care of it. Keep your eyes and ears open for those signs that you're in flow, that you're in alignment, and that your life is, you know, on the right path. And I just wanted to read from you, from this book quickly to you. The book is called Emotions and Essential Oils. It is available from shantasar.com. I'll post a link to that in a follow-up email. It's $25, and it's a really great reference to emotions and the essential oils that doTERRA have available. And the reason I wanted to use Litsea tonight is because it is the oil of manifestation. So I've been using this on a semi-daily basis. Some days I don't use it. But this is the little section here that I wanted to read to you. Litsea invites individuals to recognize what clouds and distracts their internal clarity, and to make the required change to live in greater alignment. It acts as a catalyst for living in accordance with one's higher purpose and internal compass, and helps individuals to get out of their own way. In this way, Litsea assists in the manifestation of infinite possibilities.
Infinite possibilities.
How beautiful is that? Yeah, I think a lot of people that I know and love let their overthinking get in their way, and they can't get out of their own way from what it is that they want. And you know, it's really, really special to be able to work with these beautiful oils and actually look at you know, some of the vibration behind them, and help co-create the life that you want, and making these things, well, making them possible. Yeah. So I think that is that's all from us tonight. Thanks for watching. There's 6 people. They stayed the whole time.
Wow.
We'll be sending out the replay anyway, for those that couldn't jump on tonight. We're really thankful that you stayed with us tonight and made the time tonight. That's really amazing. And yeah.
We'll do it again.
We will. Yeah.
We'll do some more meditation next time.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Great.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys.